time that I did a comment on Eric von Daniken's arrival of the gods, revealing the alien landing sites of Nazca. And let me start with a unified theory of the Nazca lines. They are communication. And some of that communication enables experience. There are interesting things about them, that they record information of various sorts. Some of them point towards the sky. Some of them point towards waterways. Some of them indicate proportions of things. You have narrow lines. You have wide lines. You have geometric things of some sort. Some of them even look like some sort of punch card, sort of like a thing going on in that, oh, the pattern, I don't know what it means, but the pattern looks like it might mean something. And others indicate are like animals and stuff. And you do find that in some ways, the animals that you find shown are the sort of animals that you see in the area. It's curious how it looks like mountaintops have been leveled and like runways of some sort have been put on, flat level beds or something put on top of other lines. It seems to have been something going on for a long time. Now, people can be on the ground and kind of, try to figure out the layout of things. It seems there was enough, perhaps they could have, wasn't there something that showed that some of the America's tribes had something similar to a hot air balloon, or could have, based on what they had? There are the mystical states that people get into, and let's not deny that. With or without drugs, these things can change one's state of consciousness. Capoeira, is that the guy's name? This thing, if you can buy this book cheap, it's worth it for the pictures. Reinterpret whatever for just the pictures. Well, his collection, the one thing that von Daniken says is, if this guy had a divorce with his wife in an age where most people didn't get divorced, and he had this collection that included multiple depictions of homosexual sex, perhaps that was part of where the divorce came from. And keeping these things to himself was the reason that he, there are ancient things that go way, way back, perhaps before some of the lakes, that, oh, well, if it rained in through here and we had a way to irrigate it down. But they knew that it rained more in one area, and they kind of developed a tunneling system to help with that. They could have done that. In the present conditions, some of that stuff can't be done. But there is evidence, just like the Nazca lines, that some of it goes a lot further back. There have been archaeologists that figure hundreds of thousands of years even. Is it Peru? Is Peru the place that they found almost 36,000 years old human habitation? And some of the Americas peoples talk about hundreds of thousands of years, if not millions. A couple even talk about millions, that their people go back in the area. And Yes, it's just very interesting what they say. Oh, I said, and the clay figures and the rocks aren't just unique to this Cabrera collection. They were things that other people had found the like of, and but there's a lot of laws protecting the area. Now, Nazca is not the only place with lines like this in the earth. All around the world, there are places like this, and some of them are even places that are to be protected. But if you follow the lines, look at the stars, look at the water sources, um, it doesn't have to be aliens that have done this, but well, it's not really a theory. They need to stop calling ancient alien theories, um, that sort of thing. But doing these things as a response. But I personally would like to see, where's the evidence of physical aliens? Where is it necessary? Can our ancient people have achieved something that we can't figure out how to achieve? After all, they had all that extra time. And they didn't have the TV or even radio and stuff to distract them. Some of them didn't have written books. I mean, whole societies even may have not had written books. The Nazca Plains and their monuments, for calendar and other purposes, were their books. It wasn't that they didn't know the seasons were unless they looked at the monument, but people like an indicator. So stop calling the ancients and the religious stupid. They're conveying a level of discipline and such that,